afternoon. You are on Spotlight. I am Dinah Ventura.
I am Jojo Silvestre, and today we have a very special guest. You know, she's my auntie.
Oh.
Yes, she's also from, the roots are also from Echage Isabela.
Isabela.
The famous Echage Isabela.
Oh, yes.
Because they always mention it. But she's here not because we're relatives. She's here because she's a modern day hero.
Okay.
Yeah, di ba malapit na tayong
National Heroes Day.
Yeah. So she's here because she's an outstanding woman who has broken the ceiling glass. In particular, by becoming a top executive of Avon in the Southeast Asian region. Hindi siya pataling presidente sa Indonesia.
Regional.
Yeah, oo. And then she started the Vietnam
Office.
operation.
Okay, wow.
But she's not just a top executive. She's not just a bongga management consultant of all these big corporations. She is also an awarded ballroom dancer. Ganyan kami.
Wow.
Yeah, magaling kami
Sumayaw.
sumayaw. And then she's an interior designer. Actually, we featured her last Christmas, yung kanyang bahay with all those
Decorations.
ornaments. Yeah. And then, of course, she cooks. And she cooks my favorite dish. Inaawitan ko nga eh. She cooks pabada, but you know, our version, our yogurt version. Because somewhere in her roots, she's also a yogurt, to which I belong.
Okay.
This afternoon, though, we invited her to share with us her journey as someone who has great concern for hospitalized children who are suffering from chronic illnesses. And of course, we will talk about her other passions.
Okay, yes, so many.
Yeah, but may I present to you Miss Malu Dy-Buncio.
Wow.
Hi, Malu.
Welcome.
Hi! It's been a long time since someone pronounced Gafud and Kumagun correctly. Yeah.
That's how we pronounce it
Kumagun.
there. But here it's
Kumagun, but we say Kumagun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gafud.
But it's Gafud, huh?
Okay.
Yes.
Would you like
Welcome.
to-
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll shoot the first question.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Jojo gave a very detailed introduction, so we know how accomplished you are as a woman. But right now, I just want to know more about your role as the president, right,
Yeah.
of the board of directors of the Kait Foundation. But first, what is the Kait Foundation? How did it start, and why Kait? Why is it called Kait?
Well, Kais is a Scottish word, and it means manifestation. And the way we manifest our love for the children, for our cause, is through contact with children and their families, chronically ill children and their families. Kais began 29 years ago, going on our 30th year already.
Oh, wow.
It was founded by two graduate students of Ateneo. They were psychology students. And from there, it's fully Filipino. It's morphed into not a large organization, but a very full organization that looks at child life. And what does that mean? Child life means that we try to give joy to children who are chronically ill. We all know how we feel when we're sick on our own, right? We really feel horrible. But can you imagine that if you are a child, you're not even 10 years old, and you have a severe disease like cancer, and you're always in the hospital, what your life is like. And so KAIS has child life specialists and volunteers who work with the children to bring them joy. So what do I mean by that? We play with them, now virtually. We educate them about their journey, the medicines. We help their parents and their families through all of this agony and trauma. And we also try to help the hospitals that we deal with. So you can see children who start off, there was a study done, unhappy, everything was black and white, because can you imagine what it's like to go through chemo when you're so young? I'm a cancer survivor, I know what it's like, and I would never do it again. And then after working with KAIS and Child Life Services, they start to smile again. In fact, their drawings are like my background. They become colorful. So you can see that there is joy once more in their lives. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very well. Parang I felt for the kids when she was describing it, the situation for them.
And someone takes care
Yeah.
of them. Helps you. But how did you become interested in this work? You know? Was
How
it
did I
something that-
become?
Does this go back to your college days, or just lately?
I would say maybe in the last 6 years. Maybe in the past I would help, but usually I would help financially. And if you think about it, financial is an easy way out, right? It doesn't really take anything from you inside. It takes financial. Yeah, okay, you give your money. That's also sometimes painful. But it doesn't take anything from you emotionally. I mentioned earlier that I'm a cancer survivor. Actually, and I think it comes from the Ibanag roots or the Herero roots. I don't know, the Spanish side. I blame them for everything. I have survived cancer twice. And I also have thyroid and issues and all kinds of issues, kidney, blah, 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 blah. I forget what I have. It's affected, but I have COVID brain, I think. Not really COVID brain because I haven't had COVID, but it's given me slowness because of all the medicines I take. And I think the point that I'm making is that once you have been sick like this, or the way I have, it makes you more sensitive and it wants you to give back. I was introduced to Kait by a fellow consultant. Actually, she's the president of Mann Smith and Fielders, where I do project work for them in terms of consulting. And she brought me into the board, and I enjoyed it because you bring joy. You bring joy. You can see the children transform. You can see the volunteers transform, those who have worked with the children. And you can see that our sponsors, through thick or thin, they stick to us because they feel the joy that Kait brings to kids who are hospital bound, who have gone through so much so early in their lives.
Malu, were you ever in volunteer work in the past?
A little bit, maybe high school, but not really anything as involved as what I am now with Kait. So Kait has touched my heart.
What does your work involve as president of the board?
Our board is quite active. Okay, so even before I became president, we meet on a monthly basis and they present problems and what has been achieved and where we want to go forward. Since I became, and we would just give our opinions. Since I became president, I have tried to bring my corporate experience to the party.
Okay.
So my first meeting as president, I actually presented to the board my strategic direction, and that was something different. In fact, all my years with Kait, no one else, other presidents have actually done that. So now I'm trying to get the board a little more involved in our projects, because the organization itself is very, very lean. One-man department, one man in marketing. It's very, very small. It's a foundation, right? And many times when people donate, they donate for a project and we scramble for operating expenses. So we really cannot expand the plantilla the way we would like to. So my solution is to try and make our board a little more active and to take a little more personal responsibility for other projects that I think will raise us to the next 30 years.
Oh, wow.
In the beginning, it was actually quiet when I broached the topic. But now I can say 2 or 3 or 4 of the board members are beginning to slowly get involved in other activities besides attending the board meeting every month.
Sino sila?
Would you mind?
Sino sila? Okay,
us.
so I'm the president of Board of Trustees. My vice president is Thirdy Santiago, who is now with Roche. He was also a Kait president of Kait Ateneo. We have like a small group from Kait Ateneo where it originated in Ateneo. We have GJ Ronyo. He was also president of Kait Ateneo. He's in finance. We have Ana Bobadilla, who's very good at defense. We have Junie Del Mundo, who is the owner and head of Eon. We have Arnel Banyas, Attorney Banyas, who was our former president as well, with a very strong HR background. We have Attorney Roy Santos, so a lot of our legal issues are dealt with through Attorney Roy. And we have Rita Nisperos, who has a very strong marketing background and general management background, and worked for pharmaceutical companies in the past. So that's pretty much how we are. Let me just double check. It's so hard to say this and that, and then you forget somebody, and they'll watch this and say, you forgot me. I did. I forgot Icar Castro. Okay, Icar Castro is one of the co-founders of Kait. She was an expat for many years, but with the pandemic has come back. She's worked for Citibank. She's now doing she's doing some webinars and things like that. And her perspective also as an expat for multinational companies has really also brought a lot to the table. And she was a co-founder of Kait.
How are you?
I'm going on 30 years. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
How are you as a team? I'm asking because you're busy here. You're into various passions, no? So, what's your management style? How do you make sure that things happen, that you accomplish your goals?
I had a nickname when I was managing Avon or working for Avon. Avon Philippines, let me be specific. My nickname was Articulate. And the first time I heard somebody in the background saying, "Oh, articulate na naman si ma'am," I was really quite I felt good, right? Because they think I'm articulate until I found out the reason I was called articulate. You know what articulate means?
What?
Arte na kulit pa.
I guess that's very effective.
So that is the reason for my success, I think. I'm very dogged. I will follow up, but I try to do it in a nice way.
Yeah.
So
She actually communicates
my
very well.
management style is
right.
articulate.
You're also very articulate in the true sense of the word.
Saan ka nag-aaral? Did you study abroad? I mean, you were with your parents.
Half of my dad, because he was a career diplomat.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for that, because I think the greatest education I got was being able to see the world when I was young.
Yes.
And that gave me such a competitive advantage. If you're an honest career government employee, you don't make money. And my father wasn't rich, but as he said to me, and I will never forget, I can't give you your inheritance will not be money, but your inheritance will be your education. And they can take away your money, but they can never take away your education. And he was so correct, because I traveled the world, the US, Germany, Australia, and then we came back halfway through my high school, and I was always accelerated.
Wow.
Wow.
Because I was moving from country to country, not so much that I was intelligent. Lucky. And I was brought to Assumption, and that was a little bit, I have no regrets going to Assumption High School. That was a little bit of an adjustment, because I had come from abroad, and I was used to, and my mother, when we lived abroad, let me live like a normal child abroad. So I didn't have a yaya, I didn't have a chaperone. And when I came back here, baka may yaya, may chaperone, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So it was a bit of adjustment. But my lifelong friends are the ones that I made there at Assumption. So no regrets. It's true. The friends that you make in high school are the friends that are with you forever. I don't know if you have the same experience, but for me, that is my experience. And I am so glad we came back in high school, because otherwise, I don't think I would have a foundation of friendship around me, a very strong foundation. And I hear that from other children of foreign service people who came back in college, and then they just go back somewhere else. They never settle in the Philippines because there's no network around them.
So you came back at the right time. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
perfect timing.
Malu, I'd like to know who your friends are, but before you answer that, let's pause for a commercial break.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Chinky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments dito sa ating programa.
Maaari nyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
We're back with Miss Malu Dy-Buncio, who is the president of the Kait Foundation. I was asking Malu who her friends are from her Assumption days.
Yes.
I don't know whether they want to say they're my friends. But my very, very close friends are Mia Reynoso Laws of the Reynoso Cooking. Yeah,
yes.
very, very close. Marilen Ziwa Graham-Billo, she is a teacher now at Assumption. She gives very good seminars. Her brother was the guapo Mel Liwag. Do you remember him?
Ah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
Guwapo nga.
oh, guapo. So the whole family is guapa.
Good looking.
Good looking family. The third one is Yvonne Yuchenko, who is pretty high profile, but
Yes.
if you know her, she's actually very low profile. Very, very simple woman.
Okay.
And Beth Meir Anyevas, who is now a consultant, was with the City Group of City Trust, I believe, and then BPI, and now is a consultant for Security Bank. And Melba Reyes, Lirag Reyes, of the Lirag
Of
textiles before Reyes Ivanovich. So she married a Filipino with Russian or that type of background, and she lives partially here and partially in the U.S. So it's wonderful because Ev Recto Gutierrez, she would get angry with me because I didn't have her name. And I hate this when you ask me to enumerate. I always forget.
Oo nga, no?
Why did you forget me? Because you're trying to be in the moment, right? So,
Ganun yan, di ba?
I better think who else. No, but that's just about. So we're not a very big group. I came from a small class in Assumption. We graduated in 1971 from high school.
So that's
We're going
Iran
to celebrate. No, Sanlo kami.
Okay.
So, Sanlo, and we're celebrating our Golden Jubilee this year.
wow, yeah.
So because we were from Sanlo, Eran was much bigger. We're only one class. We didn't have different rooms, only one. One. And because of that, we're all quite close.
Malu, let's do a story.
Sure.
Let's do on your golden.
And you're back.
That would be
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, so that's in October when we have the Bellada, what they call the Bellada. or
Will it be
Old Girls'
virtual?
Days. Yes, this will be the second year it's virtual. So, but we're doing the group that's working to make it meaningful is actually doing, at least on our end. I'm sure the host, the main host, is really those who are celebrating their 25th year.
25th,
And they will just sort of segue us into the
Program.
celebration. But our group that's working on it has really been working hard to make it interesting. So,
Will you be dancing?
No. The last time when we did 40, I think, or 20, I don't remember anymore, I did dance. But this time, no. Because, it's actually going to be interesting. We even had a song done by Ryan Cabiab.
Oh,
Kayab, yeah.
wow.
Original?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, original. So we will be singing.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Malu, speaking of going virtual, I'm wondering how Kait Foundation coped with the challenges brought by the pandemic. Because bringing comfort to kids, that's very hands-on, diba? You have to be there, you have to be present.
Yeah.
So how did you cope with these challenges?
You're so correct, Nina. I mean, the human touch is different. A relationship is different. Face-to-face is really different. So what we had to do was to quickly pivot. Like so many organizations, so many like banks had to quickly pivot. Insurance agencies had to quickly pivot. We had to quickly pivot into the virtual life. So now our child life volunteers and our child life representatives in each of the hospitals have a regular virtual get-together where they play games, where they talk, and the kids really enjoy it. So we are lucky in that we're able to meet virtually. We've also shifted some of our funds into putting kits together for our hospitals. I think I mentioned earlier that we're in 8 government hospitals, so funds are not that plentiful. And so what we've done is use some of the donations, ask for donations, use some of our monies to purchase PPE, to purchase sanitary products to be able to give to the hospitals and those who work there, and for the kids as well as their families. So we were able to pivot. I cannot take, I'm trying to think of the right word. I was not responsible for the pivot. Okay, that was the former President William Bayot who did that quick pivot, and I am so grateful. We are so grateful to him that he was able to keep Kait healthy and alive during the darkest days, which were the beginning of the pandemic. So he did a wonderful job in terms of being able to pivot very, very quickly into the virtual world and still ensure that Kait is relevant and profitable. Thank you so much, William.
You know, they're so active and they're accomplishing much, but they're so low-key, no?
Yes,
I mean, they're not like, look, here we are, and you know. Yeah, I noticed that, huh? But anyway, let's shift. You were with Avon in Indonesia, and then you started Vietnam, the Vietnam office. So how was it like in a different cultural setting? Of course, you grew up everywhere, no? But how was it like in your work, with Avon? Was it easy dealing with Asians?
You know, Indonesia, the Avon Philippines actually is a very, very large organization. Okay, in my time, I'm not sure now, but during my time, it was top 10 in terms of sales, and it was top 10 in terms of profit in dollar terms, right? Not peso terms, but in dollar terms. So we were very competitive. So I learned a lot because the organization was so big and so robust, and Avon itself really invested in me. And invested in educating and training the employees. So when I went to Avon Indonesia, it was really such a small country compared to Avon Philippines, but a totally different culture because it was Muslim. But because the culture of Avon is very strong, it was able to pervade any of the differences that another religion had. So up to today, I still have contact with the people that I worked with in Avon Indonesia, and I cried. I really cried when I left Avon Indonesia. It was heartbreaking for me. It was hard. That was what they call the Asian crisis, when the Thai baht really collapsed. When the rupiah, the Indonesian rupiah, really collapsed. When I started, 1 rupiah was 2 rupiahs was $1. By the time I left, something like, oh my goodness, I can't remember, 28 to 1. It was the equivalent of the peso going from 20 to 225. That bad of a devaluation. It was really bad. But we were able to, with the help of my organization, we were able to stay afloat. And for the first time, we were able to keep our cash flow. I did not want to borrow money from New York because they would just say to me, just shut it down. And if I shut it down, I can go home to the Philippines. I'm fine, but what happens to the rest of the org?
Right.
Nana, right? So we found a way to stay afloat. Even if you were a factory worker, you had to go out and sell. And the wonderful thing was those people who would never look at Avon before and look, well, that's too masa. Only would buy department store prestige brands. All of a sudden said, that's not so bad. It's still an American company compared to the other local brands. And we found a niche. So we were able to survive. Did I answer your question? Sometimes I tell stories, Jojo, and get carried away.
Okay naman.
Yun, so,
magaling si Malu.
yeah, and that's what got me the Agora Award. That's you showed earlier, yes. So that's what got it for me. So I had to really work for it. Nothing's ever easy for me. You really have to work hard.
I think really it's in your character or blood to lead.
Yeah.
Time, right?
That's the food blood, I have to tell you. Jojo is correct there. I am my mother's daughter, very much. So yeah, that strength of character always has come from my mother.
But very grand also. But I think she's not grand like the mother is, like kasi iba naman generation yun,
Iba-ibang
diba?
generation. So yeah, to lead and to be a strong and empowered woman, diba? So I think women, to be well-rounded, you have to have that lighter side. And we know that you have your passions outside of work, diba?
That's where she's grand.
I know. So can you tell us more about your dancing?
Yeah, your ballroom dancing.
The ballroom dancing.
Oh, and by the way, hello, Maris. I hope you're watching.
She's a good friend.
Yeah.
Very
Maris
good friend.
Reyes.
Okay.
Yes. How did I start dancing? I started it as stress relief. If you go to the gym and you do something repetitive, you're on the treadmill, you still think about your problems. And I found that when I was dancing, you just concentrate on the music and you just concentrate on your steps. So it started off as stress relief. That's actually how it started. And it started off as social dancing.
Okay.
And then after a couple of years, I realized I might as well learn how to dance correctly. And that's what started. Right? The part was just, okay, feel, all right, Lala's just going to dance. Then I realized maybe I should learn how to do it correctly. And from there, it took its own life. So I started competing. I started taking lessons, and then I ventured into local competitions, and then after that, I ventured into international competition, and then I did it as a career now because I was competing in 3 disciplines, right? In standard, the one that you saw like that, in Latin, like that, and then the Argentino actually had all 3 pictures, Jojo, with a close embrace. So yeah, kinareer ko na. So, I guess I don't do anything halfway. Articulate, right?
Articulate.
But this is after Avon already.
I started the social dancing with Avon, and then I decided to early retire. And so that's another story. Anyway, I went into the SID, Philippine School of Interior Design, and I and I graduated from the basic course. I was going into the second half of to be able to get the degree, but then I was diagnosed with cancer, and I can't be. When you have cancer, you cannot be in a small room with a lot of people because your immune system is low. And after that, but I was still competing. Not very well, but I still did it. So perseverance, tiyaga and sipag. I guess that's what I am. Matyaga and masipag.
What did Mr. Dy-Buncio say about your dancing? Was he happy about it?
In the beginning, he was not really in favor. My brothers also were not in favor. But when I started winning, they're the ones upset if I do not win. Now, so I have a stage husband now.
That's nice.
He actually says something like, when we win.
Sure na.
Investment na siya.
Yeah, so it was a journey for him and it was a journey for my family.
Okay.
And when I actually said to my brother, because it's quite expensive actually, dancing is expensive. I said to one of my brothers, I don't want to do it anymore, masyadong mahal. And he said, I'm going to get a bonus. And he actually gave me balato from his bonus. So I would continue. Can you imagine from being afraid that I would have affairs with my DIs and all that? He gave me money to continue.
Ibig sabihin, believe na believe siya sa asawa niya.
At saka magaling talaga si Malu.
Parang sayang naman yung talent, no?
Yeah. No, you
Wala
really
na.
put your
No
heart
more
into
dancing.
everything you do.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
But let's talk about that phase, yung cancer phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paano yun? How was it?
How did
Paano
you-
ka like, you survived it?
that part of your
And-
life?
You know,
We're glad you're
first
here
time,
with us.
the first time, I think I was clueless. You really don't know what's going on. I never thought that I would die. First of all, I never had that
Okay.
fear. And I'm blessed because I'm able to pay for my treatment. Very, very blessed. But the first time it hits you, you're kind of clueless. So you don't know the pain that you're going to go through. You don't know, like chemo is very, very difficult. And like my personality on a scale of 1 to 5, if 5 is the strongest, my strength, because it's not just what stage you're in, it's how strong your cancer is. And on a scale of 1 to 5, if 5 is the strongest, I'm a 5, just like my personality. So I had to have really, before I was making tawid with the doctor about my hair, and all that. And he said, that's it. No, when the test came in, there's no more tawid here. We have to stop it right away. So I had very strong chemo. And up to today, a lot of the illnesses I have are side effects from the chemo. So the first time you're clueless, you don't know you're going to go through it. The second time it came back. After 11 years, my cancer came back. And I had to have a mastectomy. Now I can say it, but I was in shock when I had to go through it. I had to have a mastectomy, and that time I was afraid. I remember being afraid. And it was quite painful. Very, very painful after the recovery period. So it's not easy. And if I suffered like this and I have the financial means, can you imagine these poor kids?
I know.
Not even 10. Actually, it's from 18 and down that we support. Having to go through something like that really is mind-boggling. And the wonderful thing is, in Kait, we have 2 survivors working for us. I think 3.
Nice. We should.
That wonderful? Yeah. Really.
That's a
the
nice
girl
story.
who in charge of marketing, who puts together all these beautiful presentations, she is a cancer survivor. So wonderful. It's so, I don't know, maybe Dinah, that's why it touched my heart.
I know.
And when you feel things like that, we're not a high profile organization at all, right? So, but it touches your heart.
Praising us.
Sorry.
We were talking, ano bang next question?
You know your story kasi I'm so involved in it na.
You just listen. And you forget to
Come join us at Kai.
Nawawala na ako sa topic. But kasi you're so multifaceted as a person. So, there's another part of Malu that we want to explore, di ba, Jo?
Yeah. Your consultancy. which is up to today, no? You're doing
Yes.
it. So, ano ito? What exactly do? You tell them, do this, don't do that, and all that?
I wish. Well, so let me backtrack a little. I am a consultant for Man Smith and Fielders. So this is, again, a local organization. It's been around for over 20 years.
Okay.
It is the largest Filipino consulting organization, and we do webinars and education. It was founded by Josiah Go, is a 10 outstanding recipient of the world, not just of the Philippines. So it's a really good organization, and I'm really grateful for them because Josiah also has a direct selling company called Waters, and when we would have group organizational direct selling meetings, we would meet. And after I retired from Avon, he asked me to join Man Smith, and I'm really happy that he did, because kung dancing lang or cooking lang. I mean, it's very one-track, one-dimensional. But because of Man Smith, I'm able to keep up in the corporate world. I'm able to stimulate the left brain, right? So I'm really grateful to them. So I work as a consultant with my specialty is really, of course, direct selling, because I worked for Avon for so many years, strategic planning, and because you also work with corporate general management, because I was a general manager since very, very young, actually. I think you saw it there. I was like I was about 40. I think the first time was 38, something like that.
Wow.
So general management, and when you work as in general management as the head of a company, and specifically when you work with a direct selling organization, you learn how to motivate people. So I also teach about leadership. Now you said, how is it as a consultant going into a company? In the beginning it was mahira, because Miss Articulate was used to saying blah, 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 and then everybody would do it.
Yeah.
But as a consultant, right, they will pick and choose, right? So how does it work? It actually works by what the client wants. Some clients want you to focus on technical. I want to learn all about direct selling. Teach me about direct selling. Okay. Some people will say, can you teach my organization about leadership and motivation? Some of them want you to sit in and they tell you their problems, and then you'll give your opinion. So it really depends on the client, what their needs are, and then you, the consultant, adjust to their needs. So I don't work full time. I think the next big project I have is in October, which I'm looking forward to. I'm talking about strategic direction, strategic thinking and direction, rather than strategic planning. So planning for the future, but also being in the here and now. So that's basically how it works. It really depends on what the needs are of your client.
I'm wondering now how you manage your time, because you're into so many things. How do you compartmentalize? I mean, the work is so varied, it's so distinct.
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I think I'm just wired that way. I see. It might be. I'm not sure. I think I'm just wired that way. My father was a diplomat, right? But he was also very structured. He should have been an engineer, because he would like things in their place.
Right.
But he was also very good at the piano. He's also creative. So I think he was able to do it much better than my mother. He was able to do that, and I got that from my father. I think my resilience comes from my ability to let things go. So
I want to know more about that.
to let things go. So that's a way of compartmentalizing. If somebody offends me, I just let it go. I let it go.
I should learn
to the point that I will probably ignore you. You're out of my life now. Right. It's not that I will unfriend you or anything, but I really don't care about what you have to say. So it's not such a good trick, but that's how I deal with it. Right? I think that's the same thing in compartmentalizing. When I say I'm going to work on my seminar for the client, I forget about everything else. When I say I'm going to practice, I'm able to just look at the practice. Wala na. Okay. And yun. you have to compartmentalize and make sure that everything doesn't sort of meld into each other and it's there.
Yun eh. Kasi parang you compartmentalize. Yes, you're able to focus, but then you have to be on top of everything also, so you can keep moving forward, di ba?
But that's also probably that's from her aristocratic background. Like, wala akong time for me. Also, who cares?
The poor aristocrat.
Grabe, I'm having so much fun.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you something about yung bangkor, what's really deep within her. But before you answer that, let's pause for another commercial break.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation, gotta keep up with my nutrition, gotta maintain my body condition, then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
So we were asking Miss Malu Dy-Buncio. I want to say her name also. Yeah.
Paulit.
Because it reminds me of home, no?
He's also articulate.
Yes,
But they say that we speak well daw. Kami daw na taga Norte.
Magaling magsalita, mag-express.
Char. Anyway, Malu, yung ano ba ang motivation mo, and who's the Malu that we do not know, and
What drives you?
Oo.
What goes on in that mind?
May tinatago ka ba?
Well, I don't think so. I suffer from what I call foot and mouth disease. I've learned out. Why did I say that?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, right? So I am. There's not very much that I hide, and sometimes I wish I was better because I do suffer. Even at work, we'd have a global meeting, and I would say something, and the people around me would like, I don't know why I said it. So I don't think may tinatago. But what motivates me, I don't have to be the best. I really do not have to be the best, but I have to be at my best.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So like I started in brand management in marketing at Avon, and one day we were having a career talk with my boss, and he said, if you want to be the head of this company, you have to have sales experience. There's no way you're going to get this job if you don't have sales experience, because this is a direct selling company. Yes, it's a beauty company, but it's also a direct selling company. And if you can't get that experience under your belt, you are not going to be the head of this company. So I thought to myself, sige na. So, okay, all right. I will do it to get the experience, but I don't have to be the best. Right?
Yeah.
I will learn, but I don't have to be the best. And it turned out that I enjoyed it, and I was pretty good at it. So I'm like that pretty much in everything. I'm willing to try. Always willing to try. That came from my mother, Jojo. She would always say, just try. I don't know, nothing will get lost unless you try. You will never know unless you try. So I just like to try. And even in competition, even kung talo, if I don't win, then it's okay. But as long as my standing, my ranking has improved.
Okay.
Once my ranking goes down below what it was the last time, that's when I'm upset. So I don't have to be the best, but I have to be
At your
at my best.
Yeah.
And I have to keep on learning. That's why I think I like to do many different things. I don't just dance one dance. I dance 3 disciplines. I like to cook. I don't really have a specialty because I like to try different recipes.
Okay.
Things like that. So that's pretty much what motivates me, learning more. Learning more.
I want to be like her.
That's right. Ito, I'm really interested in this. You know, she's a busy woman, but she seems to have a very happy family life.
Yay.
Tell us about your love life and your family life. Ano ba ang formula?
I don't have kids. I'm going to be married 38 years.
Wow.
In December. To the same man, huh?
Yes.
Man. Kasi some people have been married 38 years pero iba-iba yung mga asawa.
Malu.
So let's make that clear.
Diyan tayo magkaiba. Ako, many men. Anyway, go back to you.
Anyway, so yun. So I'm going to be married 38 years. We don't have children.
Okay.
But we do have Siamese cats. Your kids, Dinah, have blue eyes. My Siamese cats have blue eyes. So it hasn't been easy, especially when I was working, doing regional work. That was really the hardest part because I was always abroad during that time. So sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd think, where am I? What country is this? So because you travel so much. It's actually it's exciting, but it's very, very tiring. And it takes a toll on your marriage. So
how did you survive that? I mean, I can imagine.
Perseverance, I think. And don't tell my husband, I think, but if the woman decides to give up, wala na. If the woman continues to try, I think, or maybe I'm being sexist, that's not true. If one party continues to try, and then it's got a chance. But if both parties just say, ayoko na,
give up.
You give up, that's it. So we always tried. When I was ready to give up, he was not ready to give up. When he was ready to give up, I wasn't willing. So we were lucky in that sense. So we survived it. Our 17, 18, 19, 20 years were really, really tough for us.
Because you were working a lot.
Yeah, and they also say in terms of psychology, there is maybe that's the empty, I don't know, there's a certain psychological reason for that a lot of, if you look at your friends, that a lot of them, their marriages break up. It's not 4 and 7 anymore. It's really more 17, 18, 19, 20. If you can get over that, supposedly your marriage will survive. The pandemic has actually been good for us.
Tell us.
We're always together. And I realize now I'm laughing again. Even if his jokes are corny, I'm always laughing.
Parang ligawan,
Yeah, di ba? I mean, I'm kidding. So, and he likes it.
Nakakakilig naman.
He repeats the same joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been good for us. I know for a lot of people that being in close proximity hasn't been good for them, but for us, with my husband and I, it's been very good. So there are always silver linings, right, to problems, and this one has been a blessing for our marriage. So yeah,
very happy.
You have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's going to be forever for any relationship.
Forever, no? Yeah.
Dina, look, 2 years pa lang kami. So, kailan pa?
Ang tagal pa ninyo.
Baka record na yan for you.
Record na siguro yan. Anyway, let's play a game. Let's play a game with Malu.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's called Would You Rather?
Okay.
And we're going to give you questions and then you tell us your answer and why. Okay, so let's begin. Would you rather
What ba?
Yay!
yeah,
but
have
we're-
a box of chocolate
okay.
or bouquet of flowers?
Both. Why you always give the two together? I would rather have flowers.
Okay.
I would rather have flowers because for me, flowers brighten up my spirit, brighten up the place where you put the flowers. Chocolates taste good, but when you step on the scale, the next day, you're not so good.
Kaya maganda yung bahay niya. Kasi puts
So I would
flowers.
prefer flowers, yeah. Much, definitely.
All right.
Would you rather drink coffee or wine?
I like wine, but one of my illnesses is I have AFib. So I can't drink wine the way I used to drink wine before because it makes me palpitate. I'm not supposed to drink coffee either, but I still do. So I guess I would rather drink wine, but I'm forced to drink coffee.
Tama.
Would you rather travel local or abroad?
At this point, anywhere. I want to go anywhere.
Nga naman.
Kami din.
Diba? I just want to go. I don't know if Jojo's aware, but I've been traveling virtually with my friends. Once a week, we choose a place where we want to go. One of us is really masipag. She will really research everything of that country. And then we will get dressed up with my girlfriends. Another group naman. Wear our hats, our clothes. Ang init-init, summertime, naka-leather jacket. Kasi nasa abroad in a cold country. Anyway. So, I guess I would really... I just want to travel right now. Right? Where anywhere would be fine.
Yeah.
Pasyal, when we deliver sometimes because I have a small business in Makati, I make pasyal with my husband. We just drive around Makati. That's my way of traveling now.
Breathe new air.
Yeah, see new things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yan. Watch movies or listen to music?
Listen to music. I have a short attention span, so sometimes I don't finish the movie. If I'm on a plane, sometimes I see the beginning of one, the middle of another, and the ending of a third movie. So, and then it will take me several times to be able to get the whole movie for all three. Listen to music. Again, it's like flowers. It changes your mood, at least for me, brightens up the place as long as it's happy music. With the videos that I'm doing now of our virtual travel, because I'm the one who puts together the videos on iMovie, I've been able to research music, not pop music or popular music, but let's say Greek music or German music or Swiss music.
Wow.
That's been interesting because I've been learning about their culture. Greek music is really nice. It must be they're very happy. Must be the blue skies, the blue ocean, the beautiful islands. Yeah, you are a product of your environment.
Ayan, Jojo, the last question.
Last question. Would you rather be a beauty queen or an actress?
Beauty queen.
Good.
I was actually asked that one time when I was having a direct reports meeting. There was I'm not sure which one it was, but my direct reports were talking about the Filipina candidate. I'm not sure if she won or she almost won. Okay, of Miss Universe. And so that was the question going around. So we were preparing, and one by one the girls were saying what they'd rather be. And most of them said that they'd rather be smart rather than beautiful. Okay, that was actually the question. Would you rather be smart or would you rather be beautiful? All of them said they wanted to be smart. I prefer to be beautiful.
Sorry.
Because you can get away with so many things.
I had that in mind.
Diba? In fact, my friend before, if I do something wrong when I'm driving, I was with a girlfriend, and I misread the road sign, and I was still younger then, very, very pretty. So I would just go, sweet, and they let me go, and I looked at my friend, and I said, I must have been about 50, no? And I said to my friend, soon I won't be able to do that. And she said, oh, it's okay. When you hit 60, you just act like a stupid old woman.
Oh, nga naman.
Sorry. So I would rather be a beauty queen.
Okay.
I too would rather be.
Yeah, we can do it. Oh, extra practice, right? Correct.
Thank you for that. I think we're
Actually, nung malapit na matapos,
I can make one last request.
sure.
Okay, are we about to?
We're gonna ask you to say a few words.
About Kait Foundation. Okay. So,
Now, because it's anyway. So I really want to say thank you very much for inviting me personally. Thank you very much also for helping me promote Kait Foundation. And we would really, now here comes where the skin becomes thick. We really do need support. And you can help us in many different ways. You can help us with your time. You can help us by volunteering. You can help us with support in terms of goods, especially if they're related to COVID at this moment. You can help us by helping us by buying some of the merchandise that we sell. But we also need donations. We have many wonderful clients, supporters or donors, sponsors. Because of COVID, the amount of money that they have given us is still there, but very much delayed.
The fulfillment.
The best way to donate to Kait, the number is just look at either our website, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Correct. Kung hindi sumabay siguro, ganun din. Take off pa
Talk
din.
about Kait and how you
Parang yung pilot natin, namatay naman, di ba naalala mo?
So maraming salamat.
Hindi, kasi Alvin, dalawa lang tayo. Dapat pa medyo mahirap siya i-report kasi alam mo yung tono, yung ganun sa part ito. Parang pili mo nakahabaan ako. Ay, sa bagay ito yun. Parang pili ko lang. Dahil sabi ko na may exit tayo lately. Mukhang suya. Ayun. Food. Tapos sabi ko,
joining us this afternoon. We had a enlightening and very fun conversation with you, and wishing luck with Kait Foundation. And we hope a lot of people will
pero seryoso, nasasabi din sa second floor. Ang layo naman.
share their time. Thank you once again. This has been Dinah Ventura.
And now, iwanan na kita dito, lalak na kita. Joke lang, ano ba? After all, napakasalbahe ko naman.
Thank you.
Third floor. Ano, hindi ko na kayo nakita sa third floor. Kung ano itsura nito. Kung ano kayo